Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting us here today. It's a real pleasure to be among all the students of Nairobi. My name is Richard Busolato. Next to me, I have Dr. David Coe. We are rethinking choices, and we're here to talk about It's for You and why we need to use It's for You to snowball what you do and actually halt the expansion of oil, gas, and coal in the run-up to this COP28. 1st of December to the 12th of December. You can do this by signing up to bit.ly/sign up to It's for You. And we're obviously going to talk about who we are and how we ended up coming to the conclusion that this is the best thing we can do to halt climate change.
So I'm David Coe. I'm the guy on the screen on the left there, and Richard is the one in the middle. And at the bottom there is our cat Crumble, with our book, The Unsustainable Truth. The Unsustainable Truth is really the result of our 30 years of experience making money for pensions, endowment funds, sovereign wealth funds, the very big financial institutions in the world. And we did that for 30 years. And we spent a good number of those towards the end thinking about sustainable investing and researching deeply into it. And what it did is it led us to leave the financial industry because we realized that it does not work. And that's what the book tells you is the practical side of how it is that even with our best intentions, we are unable to fix a problem like climate change. And investments will only make it worse. So I do urge you to go along and have a look. It is the best book, Crumble has said, that he's ever read. So here is why. If you look at the situation there, this is a simple expression. This is actual data of our consumption of oil, gas, and coal in terms of the amount of energy that we're using from them. And the three ones on the bottom represents basically the individual oil and gas and coal, and they're more or less in the same amount as each other. And the top one is the sum of all of those. And as you can see, 1992, we started the UNFCCC. That's when we decided to get all the governments together to limit our emissions, to cut them to below 1990. That means we have to use less oil, gas, and coal than we did back then. But every year since, what we have done is to increase their use. And why is that? Richard.
Well, first of all, we need to realize that energy is needed, so there's always going to be demand for it. But the reason we actually do keep increasing oil, gas, and coal is because we see them as private property. Private property means that you can make money from it no matter what, even if you actually do hurt other people. And that's at the bottom of our current economic thinking. To change that, we need to change the way we think about economics and the way we think about oil, gas, and coal as private property versus a global common. Because currently, protests and asking for regulations and saying that we're going to divest them from our portfolios and no longer be the owners of these companies, or putting pressures on banks to not finance their operations is simply not working. Because as long as people will make money from them, production is not going to stop.
What can we actually do? When you go through and look at what actually drives our economies and what actually shapes it, and Richard talked about thinking about our economics, what you realize is that the most potent force is our collective consumption. That has the power to shape economies. Just think about what happens around the World Cup. You know, when Messi or Mbappe scores a goal, everybody in the world stands up and cheers. And all the businesses and all the finance gurus, they are watching that and they're counting the money rolling in. That is the collective power of our consumption. And we can redirect it to halt the expansion of oil, gas, and coal. And the way you can imagine that we see it can work very easily today is that if you have a limit to the expansion, you are saying you know exactly how much that's going to be used. You know, therefore, exactly where they're going to come from, and you can follow that through and tell whether the bag you want to buy is consistent with taking the oil and the gas and the coal from that or not. Put a sticker onto it and then you can buy it. If it doesn't have a sticker, ask yourself, are you not going to buy it? Because if you do buy it, then you are actually allowing the private property to dominate over the actual expansion of oil and gas and coal that you want to halt. And this is really, really powerful. We can even consider with this to buy out the entire oil and gas and coal industry. All it takes is to securitize something like 1 day's worth of our global spending. You may not know this, but the top 2,000 companies in the world has a total revenue of over $50 trillion. And 1 day's worth of that is more than the 100 billion. It's actually about 150 billion of climate finance that's not able to access. But we can access that, and we can direct that, because it is our money that we are spending. So how do we start? Obviously, to do this, you actually need everybody to be aware that collectively we have this power. You need everybody to be aware that we can be like the World Cup in terms of what goes on. So what we want everyone to do is to use the hashtag It's For You as we get into this COP28, and use that so that everybody will know this is for using our collective consumption power to halt the expansion of oil, gas and coal. Richard.
We need to ensure that everyone is talking about it. Tagging our posts, tagging our videos, tagging our clips of what we're doing, showing off all the good things we are engaging in and all the practical stuff we are doing to make this a better world. And it's so simple. If we tag everything we do, then this is going to snowball. It can be about making art, the activities we are doing, tree planting, playing football, walking in the forest, the conversations we are having with our friends and family, the debates you're having with colleagues or other students. We can run competition to increase the awareness and the knowledge, do it as quizzes between businesses so they can compete about who actually understands best what climate change is doing and the climate damage being done to the world. If we snowball this to every country, everywhere in the world, we've come a long, long, long way. Hashtag It's For You on everything you do.
And we want to make sure everybody knows this is going on. So sign up to It's For You. The URL is at the bottom there. So that we can gather together all these activities, and what we can then do, because if you are doing something along, having a dinner with some friends and having a conversation, we can actually go along and use conversation points for some people in other parts of the world, and that becomes how it snowballs. And that becomes something we can put together and gather together and make available to everyone else. And we will need your help to do this so that it becomes a symphony of a billion voices from around the world. Why do you want to do that? Because when you do that, businesses will recognize this is genuine collective power of our consumption, and they will fear it, and they will want to engage us with it, and they will come to us and say, how can we help you halt the expansion of oil, gas and coal? And that will be our start. Remember, we have the power even to buy out the whole oil, gas and coal industry. We may not need to go there, but it's important that they know we do have that power too. So sign up to It's For You, bit.ly/sign up to It's For You. And we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak to you. We hope we've given you something to think about. Richard?
I can only echo David in saying thank you so much for this invite. We know we come across as radical, but we have 30 years experience of working in investments, and we know that this will actually work. And the only way people will listen to you is if you actually display the power you have within. If you do, everyone wants to do business with you. Thank you.
Thank you. And remember, COP28 starts the 12 days from the 1st of December to the 12th of December. So there's not that much time left for this really to snowball. But once it gets going, we're confident you can turn this into a symphony of a billion voices. Goodbye. We're going to end here. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.